In this issue of Spacecraft Guide, we are going to start going over the shuttle. The reason why I'm doing this is we're going to start going over these instruments here. And these instruments are actually, these are the old mechanical ones. We're going to go into the new ones. And these instruments are very similar to what we have in NASA's new spacecraft, the SpaceX Dragon, and also the uh, the program for the Artemis program. These interfaces are basically all the same. So we're going to go back to the shuttle to explain this, go forward from the shuttle, because it gives a really good explanation of how the instruments work on the new spacecraft. So we're going to start out over here on the tapes, and we have M and VI. So that is the Mach and the velocity. And if we look, the scale down here, now this is for velocity, they have knots in equivalent airspeed. So that is what this tape is. The next tape over is the angle of attack. So this we have on modern aircraft now, so it actually will tell you what your angle of attack is, and from this you'll be able to get your most efficient glide. Now in the center here, we have the attitude directional indicator. So this is going to tell you your attitude, and we're going to go in depth for this for our Patreon subscribers. And then if we go here, this is a digital readout of your roll, pitch, and yaw. So it says roll is 180 degrees. You see we're upside down basically. The white should be up on top and the black should be on the bottom. And then a pitch is 16 degrees up, which is the difference between here and here. And then the yaw is perfect, it's 0. So that's what that is. Then we have H, which is height, which here is in kilometers. So this is your height above the Earth. And then you have H dot, which is the derivative of regular height, which is height per time, or velocity. This is like a vertical velocity on your airplane. So it's telling you what your rate going up or down is. And then they'll have another one here, H double dot, which is the derivative of this, which is your height acceleration. We'll go over all of those later. And then down here on the bottom, we have the horizontal situation indicator. For our paying Patreon subscribers, we'll go into that today, a little bit of what this is. And then here we have our G meter. This is telling us the acceleration of the spacecraft. So 0 is your weightless, -1 is you're being pushed up in your seat, and then -1 is you're being pushed down into your seat. -2 is twice the amount of your weight. 3 is 3 times, and then up to 4 G's. And right here you can see that you're at 1 G, and they call it acceleration, which is kind of related to H double dot, but we'll get into what that is. Then we have, we'll get into that later. And then here we have the cross track, and that's how much off of your center line of where you want to be on your path. And then you have percent inclination, and again, we're going to go into that later. Then down here, the final thing we're going to go over there is the flight instrument menu. Here we have AE PFD, which is ascent and entry, so going up into space, and entry, coming down, re-entering, primary flight display. This is white, unlike the cyan colored here, which is bringing up this display. Then you'll have the orbit primary flight display, the data buses, which will look at all the information that is happening in the space program, and our space shuttle, and then we have the meds here. So that is a general overview of the instruments. And again, this kind of an interface is standard for the Artemis program, which is used on SpaceX and Orion and the Starliner. But for our Patreon subscribers, including the free ones, we're going to go over this instrument here, the attitude directional indicator, and we're going to go over what all these things are, and then, but if you just join us for free, you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about now.